What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to episode number 380 of the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk podcast, Hot Tags of the Week, where we will be breaking down some of the current events, the rumors, the news, the gossip, and everything else that went down in the world of professional wrestling over the past few days outside of Fastlane. If you want to check out our Fastlane coverage, go back and listen to the post show for that one. I am your host, as always, Tony Mango, and as always, I'm joined by Robert DeFelice.
Wow, Tony, you said Fastlane quite a few times there. How are you feeling tonight, Tony?
I said Fastlane more than once?
Yeah, you were like, the Fastlane post-show, and we're covering the news after Fastlane. I heard Fastlane quite a few times there.
Fastlane,
but maybe
Fastlane,
my brain is... maybe my brain is just jarred, I'm sure.
Maybe,
somebody
I don't
will
know.
correct me tomorrow.
Well, we are going to break down quite a few hot tags. I'm glad that we're getting hot tags recently instead of it being one of those weeks where it's like nothing going on. But we got a lot to break down this time around, thankfully. Let's start things off with pure speculation. Just why the fuck not? JoJo has been off of TV quite a while now. And there's a little bit of some stuff going around that's making me think a certain particular thing. I'll give you a little backstory of this. A couple things were posted on Twitter, and this was February 21st, February 28th, and March 10th. One of them being, first one dating back was, for everyone asking, JoJo isn't done with WWE. She'll be back at some point, but for now, Mike Rome is doing an impeccable job in keeping her spot warm. Okay. Nothing really all that impressive, but whatever. Clarifies she's not done with WWE. Second one comes around. Just a quick disclaimer to all that have messaged us. We won't be giving out the details as to why JoJo isn't currently on TV. It's completely private, and her privacy should stay that way. All there is to know is that it is a personal reason, and she will be eventually back. March 10th comes around, and she says, thank you to everyone who got involved and sent something in. JoJo is going to feel so much love when she sees this. Now, some people out there may or may not have any kind of information. I'm going pure speculation, but Tom Collahue, a reporter out there on the dirt sheets and stuff, has said that, supposedly this is like a direct quote from him, I don't know, I didn't talk to the guy or anything, said that Bray Wyatt's still on, quote, creative hiatus, and that his return is, quote, probably the most closely guarded secret in WWE. So, JoJo's pregnant, huh? That's what it seems like to me.
Well, so Bray Wyatt was around for November, December. He was doing the house shows.
He did Starrcade.
He did Starrcade, even though he didn't appear on the network edit.
Yeah, he fought Baron Corbin in a match that they constituted as one of the dark matches, because there was like 4 matches that they didn't air on the show.
JoJo disappeared. Yeah, I'm assuming she's pregnant.
It's just way too strange that both of them are gone, that look, she's not a performer. If she were injured and they were to, put something out there like with Tommaso Ciampa gets the neck surgery, they post a thing about him with the neck surgery, and it's like, all right, he'll be out 3 to 6 months, maybe a little bit longer, whatever. She's not a performer. If she had some kind of an injury, like what happened with like Lillian Garcia, remember she like broke her foot or something that one time, sprained her ankle, or whatever the case may be, then they said that she was injured and she was going to come back when she wasn't hobbling around and stuff. The fact that they're so secretive about this is what's so weird about it, because it really only means a couple of things. Either, number one, she's pregnant, and that's maybe the reason why Bray Wyatt hasn't been back either. Maybe they're both like dealing with that. Number two, she had some kind of a death in the family or a sickness in the family, and they just don't want to say anything about it, which to me is really kind of strange, because if that happens, people are much more sympathetic if you just say what's going on and just say, like, look, we've had a death in the family and we're dealing with that kind of a thing. And then people go, oh, that sucks. I'm so sorry to hear about that. Come back when you're ready. Like, it's not something to be scandalous about. Shit happens. People die. Everybody dies at some point, unless they're me. Then, well, so far I haven't. Let's put it that way.
Well, that's comforting. I always have a position here.
Or the third option is she's going through some kind of like rehab or something. And in that case, that's also something that they tend to speak out about a little bit more. The pregnancy thing's the thing that a lot of the times they try to keep that under wraps. And I'll go back to the Becky Lynch thing. I still think that Becky Lynch had some kind of miscarriage or something the one time where they were all secretive about that, or some kind of embarrassing medical thing that had to deal with something like that. JoJo, it strikes me as way too convenient that Bray Wyatt's not there. And he keeps saying he's going to come back. He's clearly not injured if he was able to wrestle at Starrcade.
And, like, he's commented publicly about the relationship with JoJo, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to assume, and again, putting this out there, this is pure speculation on
Pure speculation.
our behalf.
There's nothing better than, two people on the side of the road talking about, whatever they think. There's no reporting that I'm good doing here. So anybody that wants to report that kind of stuff, no, I'm not saying that.
So as far as the thank you for getting involved, it was her birthday yesterday. She turned 25. So I guess that there was a lot of, like, birthday pictures and messages sent in from fans. There is a message here that says, "We try not to respond back to negative responses and keep it positive, but we will absolutely not have JoJo's name constantly dragged through the mud. She, for no other reason than the fact that people believe in false claims and dirt sheets. It's unhealthy to stay that hateful. From now onwards, all negative responses will be ignored and simply blocked. There are so much more important issues going on in the world, like global warming."
Oh, fuck you. Oh, fuck that. Come on.
I'm sorry. I apologize to anyone listening to this. I wasn't expecting that. I'm sorry. And the overuse of plastic. Save the turtles and stay out of business that doesn't concern you. So to be clear, these messages are coming from the official JoJo, I guess, fan site. Like, it's a JoJo endorsed fan site. Like, these used to be a very popular thing, like 10 years ago or so. And yeah, my guess is she's pregnant. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I like Mike Rome, and I think he's doing a hell of a job. And I'm not going to say that I wouldn't like to see JoJo again, but I'm not all that concerned about her ring announcing. Let's just say.
I'm not missing her, and it's this. All this isn't just to me like crapping on JoJo or something like that. It's just a matter of me going, it pisses me off when people do this kind of shit, so let's just put it out there and go, I think she's pregnant. There you go. They're going to have people talk about it. I'm kind of being a dick about it, I admit. But it annoys me when things like that happen, because if you want to complain and say, well, we don't want anybody to talk about anything negative, and we're going to get so pissed off if you start dragging her name through the mud, then clarify what the fuck's going on and people won't speculate. The end. If it's something to be so horribly embarrassed about, then maybe don't do something that is that embarrassing,
Yeah, and to be clear, if she is pregnant, nothing she's done is necessarily wrong here.
Yeah, like, if she's with Bray Wyatt and they got pregnant and they're having a kid and whatever like that, then
good for them.
Fucking Maurice came out and was like, hey, I'm having another kid. Isn't that great? Like, you should be kind of celebrating this. Now, I will admit, too, maybe she was pregnant, maybe there was a miscarriage, and maybe she's dealing with, like, post-traumatic stress disorder when it comes to something like that. And if that's the case, I could admit it makes sense for them to say something like, she's dealing with stuff and whatever, and she'll come back and it's private, and we don't want to just, like, put that out there. But maybe you can put something out there that says, JoJo's been going through some kind of, I don't know how you would necessarily word it. Yeah, JoJo's been going through a loss in the family. JoJo's been going through some troubling personal times, and she really needs to focus on her mental health. Anything like that. And then people won't start going, I wonder if she's some drug addict, or I wonder if she's pissed off somebody backstage, or, you know what I mean? Like, if you leave room for speculation, people are going to speculate. And then you can't just complain and say, like, people are speculating about the thing that I'm purposely being mysterious about. Like, it's stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm putting my coins in the little bucket that says I'm betting on the pregnancy type of thing or whatever, and eventually down the line when we get some kind of clarification about this, whether it's on like Lillian Garcia's podcast or WWE TV or I don't know, whatever, then we'll go back and see whether or not we were right or wrong. But that's my bet, and if it's anything else, and if I'm being a complete asshole about the whole situation and it's some reason that I shouldn't be talking about or whatever, then hey, that's what happens when you speculate. So.
And on the other half of that, the Bray Wyatt half, the term creative hiatus is the most intriguing way I've ever heard of a talent being out. Creative hiatus.
Because this has been a long time, too. Like, he's been gone for almost a year.
Yeah.
They lost the titles.
SummerSlam?
If it was SummerSlam, then he's only been gone half a year.
It was around that time, wasn't it?
Well, they won the titles at Saudi Arabia. And I don't remember them actually holding it super, super long. So it might have been like maybe June. All right, well, then that's not a year then. But still, that's
hold on.
It's many, many months.
Okay, let's see when the B team won the Raw Tag Team Championship.
I want to say that it was something like June. In any fashion, if he hasn't been injured, then I don't know. That's kind of strange. And he keeps seemingly getting pissed off when people say like, "Yeah, all right, dude. Like, when are you coming back?" And he goes like, "Fuck you, I'm coming back." Sort of. It's like, all right, well then you've been saying that for like 5.5 months. Like, what's happening? You know.
So July 15th, they lost. They won the titles in Pittsburgh at Extreme Rules. Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel.
So that's what was it, July? You said
July 15th, yeah.
So I mean, it hasn't been a year at this point, but it's been enough months now that it's like it's kind of weird.
It's been the length of a pregnancy.
Mm-hmm. Just saying. You know, and I don't know. Maybe I didn't do enough research. I mean, maybe meaning I didn't. But like, as far as I know, JoJo hasn't posted a bunch of pictures on social media that people have been passing around and stuff like that. So, if that's the case, what would be a reason for you not to be posting stuff? You know?
I don't know. I do miss Bray Wyatt. I know I'm in the Smark moment minority, but I have a lot of faith in that character. I think he can still be brought out to do great things, and I hope that we see that sooner rather than later.
Well, we need to get Jordan in on this whole total divas type of thing that we're talking about here, but promise the whole rest of the episode is not going to be about whether or not somebody's pregnant and stuff and who's dating who and whatever.
Nikki Bella just posted new pictures with Artem.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that, Tony?
Let's go to photo shoot. Why not? That's the order that I wrote this down for some reason. They had 2 episodes of photo shoot that they released. One of them was last night after Fastlane. One of them was tonight after Monday Night Raw, which just ended not that long ago for anybody that's curious why we're recording this. And I said last night. First one was AJ Styles, and the second one was Dolph Ziggler. I think that they're worth checking out. They're pretty short, and if you like photo shoot, then that's the thing for you. I mean, obviously, if you don't like photo shoot, then the format might not be something that you're into, but Styles had some interesting things to say. Ziggler chimed in on a couple things. It's pretty easy to just kind of put that on in the background and listen to that, I think. They get a thumbs up from me. What about you?
AJ Styles can't say the word Emporium.
Yeah, they had a hard time with that one. Car Emporium.
Other than that, I enjoy whenever the WWE Network pulls out TNA pictures and footage. And last night they covered the AJ Styles Ric Flair stuff from TNA, which was interesting. And the Dolph Ziggler one was rather nostalgic for me because, yeah, Ziggler's one of those last guys that I can, like, say I was a fan of while in school. So seeing Ziggler, like, with the Intercontinental Championship and Vicky Guerrero reminded me of, like, being a senior in high school and thinking, oh, Dolph Ziggler is the future of wrestling, and it's going to be amazing in 5 years when he's, like, main eventing every WrestleMania. Now that didn't happen. But yeah, thumbs up for me. I think they're both good, and they're quick. They're quick, and they don't overstay their welcome like Chronicle.
Yeah, that's true. One thing that you're not going to be able to watch, though, is the watch along for Fastlane. WWE tried something a little bit different. I'm assuming Pat McAfee was the one who suggested the idea to do it to begin with, because he seems like he's interested in kind of like, well, you guys haven't done this, you guys don't do this thing, how about we do stuff like that? They were doing a watch along, and it had like the Revival were in it for a little bit. They did a little Dirty Dancing moment. Kathy Kelly popped in. Pat
Kathy
McAfee's
Kelly,
there.
I think, was there because I watched a little bit of it. Kathy Kelly, Alexa Bliss, who, by the way, I don't know if we should talk about her. She must be like unable to wrestle again. But Kathy Kelly was there. Alexa Bliss, Devon, and Christian were there. That was interesting, along with Pat McAfee.
See, I didn't
Pretty
get a
fun.
chance to watch any of it since I was doing so much coverage and all that, but apparently during it, Nigel McGuinness said the word, he said like a fucking whatever or something. He dropped an F-bomb, and I guess just because of that, they pulled it from everywhere, which is like, really? You're going to pull it for like one F-bomb?
I guess it's easier to pull it than it is to isolate that F-bomb and change the, like, bleep it out or something.
It just seems kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of stupid to me. It's one F-bomb. He apologized for it afterward too, you know, like, you can have an F-bomb in a PG-13 movie. There's a rule about that. You get your one, you know? Like, so it's fine. You think that, like, the kids watching this kind of stuff, that's going to be the one issue, you know? They turn on anything else on YouTube, like a Smark Out Moment channel, and I heard plenty of fuck this, fuck that, and stuff, so...
I'll tell you right now, I live with 3 kids. They were watching TikTok videos earlier today, and I heard some shit. I was like, yeah, no, you can't watch this. So the internet is bad for children, but children go on the internet anyway, and people say fuck. We're sorry.
Look, the internet's bad for everybody. Rule 34 exists. Like,
Rule 34 does exist. Bowsette. Look it up.
Bowsette is exactly one of the reasons why the internet should not exist. 4chan alone. Just, like, don't go there, you know? Or go there and have lots of fun. It depends. But yeah, like, that's just kind of stupid to me. I like the idea that they were doing the watch along. I didn't get a chance to check it out, but, like, I would love to do a watch along for these kind of things. If I had the resources and I had the time, the money, and could avoid the copyright bullshit that would go along with it and stuff, like, I would love to have watch alongs for pay-per-views. It'd be so much more fun. Same thing with movies, too. If I could do that for fanboys, it'd be fantastic.
Christian and Devon were talking during the tag team title match about, yeah, no, we haven't been out of the ring that long, but it seems like so much more offense is based around the legs and kicking. Kicking is very popular. I thought that was interesting because you're just listening to them kind of talk and break the fourth wall during a pay-per-view. I thought that was different in a good way.
That's kind of how it should be, though. You know, if you're watching a watch along, you're not watching it thinking that they should stay to kayfabe.
Ronda does say kayfabe.
Oh, this whole Ronda thing, it's annoying to me. Let's go to Renee Young. Rumor has it, may or may not be true, Renee Young's going to be booted off of the Raw commentary team at some point soon.
Well, let's go with the more upbeat half of that information and talk about Renee Young and Corey Graves potentially taking over the Hall of Fame from Jerry Lawler, who said on his podcast that he'll likely not be needed anymore for the Hall of Fame. And WWE's considering doing a co-host deal between Corey Graves and Renee Young. I'm in favor of that. I think those two have good chemistry together. That's just my personal opinion on it. I know that some people aren't a big fans of Corey Graves, but I think, time to phase out the Jerry Lawlers and even Jim Ross. I know he's leaving and likely going to AEW, but let's officially phase him out of the WWE universe. I don't think it's blasphemous to suggest doing that.
Well, see, I like having Lawler back just because we get Renee and Corey every single week. twice a week with Corey, and I like having something different. And Lawler brings a certain prestige. You know, he is a Hall of Famer. He's got some stories to tell. Like, I like that part. I'm curious about her leaving the commentary team, if that's true, though, because if that means she's getting taken out of it because they don't like her, like, her work in there, then that would kind of imply that she would go back to doing the backstage interviews and everything like that, and the pre-show panels and whatever. If it's because she wants to do something else and it's not that they don't like what she's doing, then she's still leaving, and then they still need to replace her with something else. But there was a story that I was reading the other day, and again, may or may not be true, that Fox doesn't like the 3-person team.
And
if that's
exactly
the
what
case,
I think it is.
then maybe they change this because they don't want 3-people teams, and maybe that's their excuse to take Renee Young out of the mix. Maybe they wait until that, and then they say, well, we're changing it up a little bit. We're going to have just Tom Phillips and Corey Graves on Monday Night Raw, and I don't know who, Vic Joseph and Byron Saxton on SmackDown or something. Like, you know, maybe they're going to do something like that. But it's weird. They have Michael Cole in the waiting to like retire, sort of. Keep hearing about this for like 3 years now, that Michael Cole's like on his way out, and that they're trying to train somebody else to get into the mix. They brought Mauro Ranallo in, and then now he's just doing the NXT thing. Who knows if that's ever going to change? I don't know. They brought in Aiden English for 205 Live. They did say Pat McAfee was a part of the broadcast team and all that, but he didn't actually do anything yet on NXT, so I'm assuming that that's not necessarily like the commentary team. Maybe it's just all the other stuff that he's been doing. But maybe he gets into the commentary. I don't know. There's a lot of the people that are just sort of like hovering around, and it doesn't seem like there's necessarily a plan. So if Renee Young's taken out of the mix, then they're going to replace her with Paige.
So Paige in a commentary role, I'm not sure it would be the best position for her. And also, I'm just going to say it, I don't think that we need to try to shoehorn somebody into a commentary position just to fill the female quota. Yeah, like I'm not a subscriber to that theory. I feel like, you know, they've done that with, and I've mentioned this before, I don't know if it's a controversial thing to say, but every commentary team is the same. They have the play-by-play guy, the snarky former wrestler, and prior to Renee, the quirky black guy. You know, and every announce team had that kind of layout, and I'm not a fan of needing to fill these quotas. Personally, I like that Fox is like, nope, I want a 2-man booth. I hope that's true, because I want a 2-man booth. I would like to see, you know, Tom Phillips and Corey Graves, and then Michael Cole and probably Corey Graves. But even if you wanted to replace Corey and keep him exclusive to one brand, put Michael Cole with, I don't know.
See, that's the thing, though. It's like, yeah, who do you really do? Like, some people aren't like as bad as some other people and all that, but I do have to admit that, and this is something that I've wanted to do for a long time and something we've talked about, and, you know, who knows if I'll ever do it, but like, if I were to create my ultimate WWE roster, I'd have to admit, Byron Saxton and Corey Graves and a couple other people that are on the commentary team right now, they would not be my choices for an all-time commentary booth. Like, I know Michael Cole's not the most popular person in the world, but I would put Michael Cole in there as at least an option. And I wouldn't for Percy Watson or Nigel McGuinness or, you know, like, it's so, as much as I liked that Renee was somebody that they were trying out for the commentary team, I do have to admit, Renee Young would not be on my commentary team if I had the option to do the best of all time and stuff. She wouldn't even come close. So whoever they go with, if they do replace her, I just hope that it's somebody who's good. I don't want them to just go, well, let's throw a Tonga in there, or, well, I guess we'll put Booker T back in there or whatever. Get somebody who's good at the role, not somebody who they're just trying to figure out what to do with that person. Paige, I can't imagine being good on that. So don't put Paige on there just because you feel like you need to put another woman in there and there's nobody else to put in there. Don't put Paige in there because you can't figure out what else to do with Paige. Get a commentator. Like, hire people for the roles that they're supposed to be doing. You know?
Yeah, I agree. And, that's something we've talked about before, where they don't hire people for roles that they're good in. They hire people and then they go, oh shit, we have too many people. Look at Aiden English. Aiden English was in a perfect role where, with the Rusev Day thing, he was, on SmackDown regularly. The fans were digging him. They took him away from Rusev. They they had him job out to Rusev, and then it's like, hey, Aiden, you're still on the commentary team. 205 Live. Let's try you out on color commentary.
To be honest, though, I think that's actually better. I thought that the Rusev Day stuff kind of ran its course, and I actually kind of like him on 205 Live. Again, he wouldn't be like, oh, let's put him on the Raw roster then, no. But I think that, I like him in that spot. And I kind of want Lawler to stick with the Hall of Fame, too. Like, we were talking about that before, but I want him to stick around for that, because where else are we going to see Lawler? Pop up on a pre-show panel twice a year? Like, that sucks.
Well, let me tell you where you can see Jerry Lawler, Tony. If you follow USA Championship Wrestling on YouTube, Jerry Lawler is still very much an active wrestler in Memphis, Tennessee, and he just competed in a Thunderdome cage against Loverboy Matt Riviera. So go check that out on YouTube if you're missing Jerry Lawler, because he's still wrestling.
That's insane. Credit to the guy, though. If he could fucking still do that, then that's awesome.
But in regards to the Hall of Fame, I want to read you an exclusive from thesportsdaily.com from Chris Featherstone. Chris is a good guy. He says, per a source close to WWE, there will be some major format changes to this year's Hall of Fame event. I was informed that the changes will dismiss a major component that has been occurring for many years. That component is that there will no longer be specific people to introduce each Hall of Fame inductee. Now, we've been talking about that, which, I'm kind of down for. The Oscars did really good with not having a host, and it looks like the Hall of Fame might not have inductees. I'm okay with that. In addition to that, a source within WWE is stating that there will no longer be people introducing each Hall of Fame recipient, and there will now also be a 15-minute time limit for each inductee's speech. What do you think about this?
I think it's kind of stupid, because if you're going to introduce the time limit thing, then you're I'm getting this impression with a lot of things that this year's Hall of Fame doesn't matter. This is a test Hall of Fame. Because one of the other things we're going to talk about is Harlem Heat is being inducted in the Hall of Fame this year. So this means now 2 people going into the Hall of Fame this year are already in the Hall of Fame.
And then one of them, I'm sorry, love her, she was a great character, but you've got 2 already inductees and Tori Wilson. It's not coming across like a great Hall of Fame class.
And part of the fun of the Hall of Fame is when you have people that can tell these anecdotes about different things and give these funny stories and that. And if this year the Hall of Fame ends up being here's a video package that people come out and they rush through their acceptance speech, it's not going to be fun. It's going to be a 2-hour-long video package.
And with a red carpet beforehand.
With a stupid-ass red carpet, which is if you're the type of person who likes red hard carpets, then watch the E! Network.
Well, it also says here in this article that Goldberg stated at some point, I spoke to Vince McMahon, and that's got to be changed. It has to be. Because I guess he wasn't a fan of how long the Hall of Fame ran last year when he was being inducted. Which is true, it does tend to run long, but I'm not sure if making it extremely quick is the solution. It just seems like they're overcorrecting.
Yeah, and I got a feeling that these changes that they're making this year, they're going to have to change them again next year, because they're going to realize it. They're going to realize how bland of a product it is. If you give 15 minutes to everybody, we were talking about this off the air, but does that mean that DX doesn't get 15 minutes for the whole thing, or that DX gets 15 minutes a person, or what happens when people go long? because people aren't going to be sitting there looking at their watch trying to practice their speech to make sure that it's 14 minutes and 58 seconds. They're going to go through and they're going to just lose track of their time. Do you have somebody actually come out and force them to leave? That's going to be awkward as hell.
I hope they, you know that little bum 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 bum, you know that little Hall of Fame song. I hope they just start playing that over the PA.
That's like
Oscar style, like
yeah,
get
and
the
that's
fuck
gonna
off the stage.
that's gonna come off like already we're not gonna have the fun inductee speeches, and we're gonna be rushing a lot of people and stuff. And then if they start cutting the people off like that, it's gonna be like I don't know, like it's just not gonna feel right.
Do you remember a couple years ago when there was a big hullabaloo about Eva Marie is hosting the Hall of Fame and not Jerry Lawler? Do you think that they've been trying to get rid of Lawler for a while, and now with this Renee Graves pairing, they have the pairing to do so? Like, the talent to do so? Because, admittedly, Eva Marie would have been a little weird hosting the Hall of Fame.
No, I think that this is just something that they're in the mood to change, so they just keep changing things. Because people do that, and I get that kind of impression from Vince McMahon a little bit, that once he's starting to change things, he's like, oh, why don't we change this? Why don't we change that? Let's just change 50 things, and we'll figure out which things worked, and then we'll go back next year, and fuck it, it's just a Hall of Fame, who cares? We'll do another one next year. And the 2021, we'll figure out all the things that we didn't fuck up right on the 2019. Like, so he's probably
really
sitting there
good?
like, well, let's change the host, let's change this, let's change that, you know what I mean?
You know, it'd be really good. I know he's done a lot for AEW, but Conrad Thompson hosting the Hall of Fame would be fun. I know we're on this podcast, we're total marks for the Thompson podcast, especially Something to Wrestle, but that would be fun, and I think that's a name that people would, enjoy seeing.
He just comes out there and he's like, well, our next inductee got a 5-star rating from Dave Meltzer.
Well, this next group when I was a teenager got me in a lot of trouble because I was constantly telling people to suck it. But I gotta tell you, Ric Flair's daughter, Roll Tide.
Yeah, just Roll Tide on Tori Wilson and
for that matter.
What happened when Harlem Heat went into the Hall of Fame?
Okay. By the way, not a fan of that.
Yeah.
I like Harlem Heat a lot. I like WCW a lot. But this really seems like it's reaching.
Like, why? Why do that? They already inducted Booker. Like, do they really need to put Stevie Ray in there and bring Booker back into the mix too? Are they doing it just because it's fucking New York area? Which it's technically New Jersey, but just to be like, hey, Harlem Heat. There you go. New York related.
They're from Houston, sir.
Yeah, but it's Harlem Heat. Like, that's the thing.
They're
like,
from Houston. It's like saying New York, New Jersey. It's not New York.
Right.
You're not in New York. You're in MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. And although it's cute that you keep adding the Statue of Liberty there, you think people are going to be fooled, but they're not. You're not in New York. Granted, this year they're actually in New York for every other night, but Mania itself.
It's still just like
Madison Square Garden isn't worth it.
I don't know what's going on with the Hall of Fame this year. It seems like by the end of this Hall of Fame, I'm going to be like, oh, that was a fucking waste. You know?
It seems like Honky Tonk Man is a must, right?
Yeah.
Harlem Heat.
If Harlem Heat would have gone in, like if they would have gone in before Booker got in, and if it would have just been like that's how Booker went in, then yeah, then cool. But I don't like these two-time.
No.
We're gonna have 3 people now that are 2-time Hall of Famers. How the fuck does that happen? Like, it's stupid.
No, I'm not saying that it's unprecedented. Yes, Paul McCartney went in as a member of the Beatles, and he went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a solo artist. That's fine. Harlem Heat is not Hall of Fame. I'm sorry, they're not. Especially not in a Hall of Fame for a company that, to the best of my knowledge, Stevie Ray has never worked for.
I don't remember him, yeah.
Like, Booker absolutely deserved to go in. My guess, and this is, again, disclaimer, pure speculation, not saying this is why they're doing it. If I had to guess, they must only be allowed one posthumous person a year, and that is China. Therefore, your Hart Foundation idea goes by the wayside.
I guess that would mean the Bam Bam idea does too.
Which I really, really, really hope not, but, whatever. He deserves to be there. It's not like it'll make a difference, unfortunately.
And that's the stupidest thing too, is if they're worried about the time frame, inducting the posthumous people cuts down on the time. They can't give speeches, fuckers. Like, Bam Bam Bigelow can't give a 15-minute speech. He can't give a 2-minute speech. So if you induct him into the Hall of Fame, you can induct 10 people that are posthumous in the Hall of Fame and eat up the same amount of time as you would with one person who drags their ass,
I feel like Bam Bam's theme music would be like him giving a speech.
There you go. Just as Bam Bam, and that's it.
It's just Bam Bam. I think they missed a good opportunity this year to change the format of the Hall of Fame and just do D-Generation X in like a roast style.
That would be fun.
Every person gets a chance to speak. Every person knocks the other. You get a few funny quips from guys like The Rock, Vince McMahon, I think that would have been a great Hall of Fame and a great Hall of Fame for New York. But, what do I know?
Yeah, well, we were talking more about this when we talk on the Wrestling with the Past about the Hall of Fame, and who knows how many other people are going to be added into the mix by then, but that's coming up fucking next week. Jesus, already. Wow.
No.
I think that's the plan for next week, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
Because the end of the month is the mailbag one. I don't know, maybe I'll bump up the mailbag. Maybe you guys are going to have to send your mailbag questions in for next week. Do them anyway. I know Marco and Howard sent in questions over the past day. Yeah, if you're listening to this, send your mailbag questions in, because we might do them next week instead or something. I don't know.
Because we don't even have a Warrior Award recipient or nothing.
Maybe we don't have one this year.
I highly doubt WWE is going to miss the chance to promote themselves. Nick the Stitch. He'll go in.
What other hot takes we have? Yeah, I don't really follow this, but apparently it's something that's going on right now. Brie Bella says that she's fully retired from pro wrestling after Evolution, that she just is like, yeah, I guess I can't do that anymore. I call bullshit. I think that this is just a Total Divas thing.
Okay.
Or Total Bellas, technically.
So, my thing is, of all of the stupid things that they do make announcements for, if Brie was really done, they should have made an announcement that Brie was done. Because I'm not saying they're the greatest, but the Bella Twins are important, and you'd think that it would have been worthwhile to say Brie's retired. Maybe they didn't feel the need to do so because she retired prior to getting pregnant with Birdie, but I don't know. By the way, I also think it's bullshit because there is a women's tag team championship, and I don't want to see it at Mania, but I'll be damned if I don't see the Bella Twins at least challenge for the things. Like, this makes perfect sense for the Bella Twins.
This just screams to me as we don't have anything for Brie Bella to be her big story arc for this entire season that's coming up, and how about we do that? Like, I'm so upset about how I wasn't able to perform well. I think that I should retire. Maybe I should have another kid. And then a couple months down the line, it goes, you know what? I think I still actually have one more match in me, and it would be great if me and my sister could win the tag titles. And then that's how they build it around.
Yeah. Maybe she's heartbroken that Daniel Bryan cares more about preserving the planet than spending time at home right
now. Let's move to the new signings. We have 3 new people that they put out there as joining the Performance Center. One of them, Robbie E., that you might recognize from Impact from back in the day. We got another person named Cal Bloom. And we have A manager. They've specifically mentioned that he's a
Yep.
manager. Stokely Hathaway. So
Stokely Hathaway is really good.
I'm familiar with
I like
Robbie
Stokely
E.
Hathaway.
I don't know Cal Bloom and I don't know Stokely.
So I did not know anything about Cal Bloom. I was reading the bio on the website, and apparently he's one of the children of the Beverly Brothers, if you remember them.
Beverly, I think, was the one that his dad is.
And Wayne Bloom, I believe, is the real name of
Yeah.
his father. I know a little bit about his dad. He got his start in the AWA. You know, did make that leap to the WWF after the AWA closed. Did the Beverly Brothers thing with Mike Enos. They didn't go too far, but they did challenge for the tag titles at SummerSlam 92 and fight the Steiners at Royal Rumble 93, and then they were kind of phased out. Granted, the guy looks great. Like, he looks like a hoss. Interested to see what he does. Stokely Hathaway, it makes my heart just gleeful and joy and skip because they signed a manager and he's very good at what he does. Robbie E surprised the crap out of me because I kind of thought Robbie E was being kind of phasing out the wrestling part of his life, and when he was signed, I assumed he was signed in like a training capacity. But no, I guess he's gonna try his hand at NXT, and you know, good for him. He worked long enough. I think it's always great when a talent works their ass off to get to the WWE and actually gets there and can enjoy it. I would not be surprised if that partnership with The Rock and doing The Rock's Titan Games reality show there helped him out a little bit.
He was a part of that?
Yep.
Was he like a competitor on there, or was he?
He was a competitor, yeah.
Huh. Maybe he put in a good word for him. I know that there was a thing a couple months ago that he was at the Performance Center.
He was at the tryout with Chelsea Green.
And they didn't sign him then. So, I don't know. That's kind of strange. But from what I had seen of Robbie E, I liked him. So that's cool. And like you said, the Cal Bloom guy, he looks like he's big. So hopefully he's got some talent behind him too. And I just don't know anything about Hathaway either. So if he's cool, then I'm all up for more managers. Managers really can help a lot of people, you know? Like, I'm really glad that Lio Rush is still sticking around with Bobby Lashley. And I'm glad that we've got Maurice every once in a while. And I'm glad that we've got Lana with Rusev. And, you know, it's just like, why not have more characters? Like, we used to have a lot of these people, and they were a lot of fun. Bobby Heenan was fucking great. Paul Heyman. Shit, the only reason that you have Brock Lesnar around is because of Paul Heyman, you know?
Paul was in rare form tonight. I enjoyed Paul Heyman on commentary, kind of shutting down everybody.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about the Monday Night Raw stuff. Let's round things out by talking about that. Bobby Lashley won the Intercontinental Championship. He beat Finn Balor with a little bit of help from Lio Rush that I just mentioned a minute ago. And now I'm kind of 50-50 on how I feel about that. Part of me is really happy because I think that Finn Balor holding that IC title, it wouldn't have led to anything special for WrestleMania, and I kind of want him to go to SmackDown after the Superstar Shakeup. Now that he's not the Intercontinental Champion, there's more of a chance that he can do that. But then part of me goes, that kind of means that Bobby Lashley might have a singles match at WrestleMania or something. And if that's the case, I don't know if I really want to be super into that.
I don't know. My instinct was like, damn it, you just gave Finn something nice. Why are you taking it away? I had that reaction. So I guess you could say I was being a mark and I got worked, but I just, I want Finn Balor to do something with his career. Like, I wasn't the biggest advocate for him being the main event player, but he definitely deserves recognition, you know? But Lashley, and specifically the package with Rush, is really, really good. So maybe I can live with that. Maybe Lashley can wrestle a Kurt Angle at WrestleMania.
Oh, I don't know. See, because Kurt Angle has also said that he's going to be wrestling his final match at WrestleMania 35. He's going to be retiring. he's only got a couple of weeks now, so they're doing kind of like a farewell tour. He wrestled Apollo Crews tonight. I'm assuming that that's because he's probably just like, hey, I like Apollo Crews. We should have a match together. And now that I'm adding that into the mix, I'm counting around 18 matches for WrestleMania this year, which is kind of crazy. But with the Lashley thing, that could still be a multi-man thing. I don't think Kurt Angle's fighting for the Intercontinental title. I do think Angle's going to get a separate match, though, and now this is starting to make me think that maybe Finn Balor dropped the Intercontinental Championship because his last match is going to be against Finn Balor.
You know, of all the people who could retire Kurt Angle, I wouldn't want it to be Finn Balor, just because they don't have much of a link. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing Kurt Angle versus, tonight we saw Shelton Benjamin kick some ass on Raw as a heel. Maybe, boost Benjamin, give him that rub.
Well, what are the options? I put up an article a couple days ago, my thoughts on who should retire Kurt Angle, and my ultimate thing was John Cena, but now we're getting that tease that it's John Cena, Samoa Joe. Who do you think? You think, because I was thinking at first, maybe Roman Reigns, because I know that Angle has said that he wanted to work with Roman Reigns. Kind of seems like they're going down to this whole Drew McIntyre type thing. I don't know. That to me, too, is is the plan for WrestleMania just Drew and Corbin against Reigns and Ambrose? That's stupid. They just did a better match at Fastlane,
I didn't get that impression. I got the impression that they wrote Ambrose off, and it's Reigns and McIntyre.
And that's dumb, too, because there's nothing on the line. There's no purpose behind it.
Yeah, but we were talking about this last night. Somebody on that card has to be in the Randy Orton, CM Punk, we just hate each other match. And
I kind of thought that was the Orton Styles thing.
Well, there can be, I guess it's one per brand, or there could be a couple,
If we add that in, then I've got 19 matches then. Because I'm not even factoring that in as an extra match.
So what all are you
McIntyre
counting?
stuff.
What are you counting? Every single title being on the line?
Every title being on the line. Then you've got the Triple H Batista, Styles and
Orton.
Styles and Orton. The Kurt Angle retirement. The Battle Royals. 2 of those. What else we got?
A potential John Cena.
Well, I was kind of even factoring that in with
the
U.S. title.
Match. Yeah.
We got The Miz versus Shane. We got Rey Mysterio, Andrade.
See, I don't think they're going to do it. I think if the U.S. title ends up being one-on-one Cena, Samoa Joe, I think it's Rey wins the Andre. And it's like, he was the biggest man, I'm the littlest man. Ha, it's funny.
It'd be funny if Andrade won and it was the Andrade Memorial.
Oh, I like it. The Andrade
the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Yeah, going down the list that I've got written in no particular order, I've got Universal title match, Raw Women's Championship match, No Holds Barred, Triple H Batista, Kurt Angle's retirement, WWE Championship match, Kofi and Bryan, whoever fights Asuka, the tag team title match for the women, the Intercontinental title, which could be Bobby Lashley versus fucking anybody, I don't know, Braun Strowman or something like that, Raw tag team titles, SmackDown tag team titles, Miz versus Shane, Andre Battle Royal, Women's Battle Royal, U.S. Championship match if it's Joe Cena, Rey Mysterio, Andre, Styles Orton, Cruiserweight Championship match. We're at 17 matches right there, and that's not even factoring in Roman Reigns or Drew McIntyre or Corbin or whatever, and that's leaving a lot of people like Braun Strowman out of the mix. That's leaving Finn Balor with nothing to do unless he's the one that is against Kurt Angle.
So my guess is the way you get around this is the IC title can be a multi-man of some sort, like Lashley, Balor, Elias, and...
Oh, that's true, because there's... Elias thing's probably going to be a segment, and that's probably going to be Honky Tonk Man. And you have to figure out time for Alexa to be the host.
Oh yeah, that was announced tonight, everybody. Alexa Bliss is the host because apparently she's injured again and can't wrestle again, but they have to get her on everything. Which brings up a good point, Tony. Do you think the WWE executives are voting in the Sexiest Superstars tournament?
I'm still considering that possibly being like the Alexa Bliss Invitational or something like that. And just kind of, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think they'll get around it by doing a lot of multi-mans. And again, we have a 2-hour pre-show and a 5-hour show with guaranteed overruns. So everybody will get their shake.
I don't know. I'm getting a little worried.
And what's the worst thing that could happen if you put, like, let's say the match is Cena Joe? If that only goes 8 minutes, is anyone's feelings really hurt?
R-Truth.
Yeah, probably.
Well, obviously, we're not going to know much more about this until they start telling us more, but I update my predictions on smark.moment.com all the time. I literally updated it twice during our podcast here. So tomorrow night on SmackDown, we'll get more information about where they're heading in certain directions. Maybe get some more clarification on the SmackDown tag team titles. Maybe get some more clarification on the United States title. We do know that R-Truth is going to fight Samoa Joe, so all those things that we were talking about from Fastlane seems to be working out. It's almost as if they hired somebody on the creative team that seems to know what they're doing. Huh.
Well, you know.
Well, you take the chicken. Whatever information that we get, though, that's going to be put out there in some form, possibly just on the predictions page or whatever like that, because our main event for this week is not going to be anything talking about more on the WrestleMania side, at least for this year's WrestleMania. Instead, we're going to be talking about the Mount Rushmore of WrestleMania. So we're going to break that down Wednesday or Thursday and discuss who we think should be the 4 main superstars that symbolize what WrestleMania is all about. And then maybe next week we're going to do the mailbag. I don't know. We are just talking about that earlier. Maybe it's Wrestling with the Past or maybe it's the mailbag. So if you do have mailbag questions, send them in now just in case. And that way you're not going to go, fuck, I forgot about that. Now I have to wait until the end of April or something. But we will figure it out. And when we do, let you know. For now, though, we're just going to wrap things up here, talk about some plugs. If you want to be aware of when these things go up on the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for the notifications. You will get an email anytime that something gets posted. You can also follow the Facebook and Twitter accounts at SmarkOutMoment. Obviously, check out smarkoutmoment.com for everything else that's going on there. Probably going to be posting my fantasy booking on there and not in a podcast form. So stay tuned for that one if you are interested in that regard. It's just a lot more work to do it on a podcast. I have to do a whole bunch of editing. It's going to take hours to do this kind of thing. And if I could just type it out, it'd be a lot easier. We've got a contest going on right now where you can win a Funko Pop of either the Skull King Triple H or the WrestleMania 12 version of Shawn Michaels. So join in on the contest and stay tuned for... No, I don't think there's going to be another contest when it comes to that. I am going to do a product review, but it's something different. We've got fanboysanonymous.com is where I do the fanboy stuff anonymously, even though it all is attached to my name, so it's not really anonymous anywhere. We've got the TeePublic and Redbubble shops for fanboys and for a Smark Out Moment, and they just took down the Juventud Pornhub thing earlier.
No!
Yeah, Pornhub has taken down every single one of my parody designs over the past 2 days. So that sucks. So you can no longer get the Juventud Pornhub parody logo shirt until I re-upload it at some point.
Oh man, that breaks my heart. Now I have to jump on it if you re-upload it.
Yeah. There's also the Patreon. So if you have a little spare change and you want to help us keep the lights on, donate to either the Fanboys or the Smark Out Moment, one of that. Check out the stuff I've got cooking up on eWrestling News and Bleacher Report, because there's plenty of articles that pop up there about that. And if I forgot something, then fuck it, you know it by now. So just do all that stuff. Rob?
I'm, first of all, really sad about the Pornhub parody being taken down. Justice for Hoovie. But for me, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DudeFelice. You can check out TimekillerApparel.com. You can check out eWrestling News for your daily wrestling news because that's what it's
Your daily
for.
wrestling news.
Yeah, and stay tuned for all the stuff we've got coming at you for WrestleMania season 2001 Wrestling Odyssey, Mr. WrestleMania at Mount Rushmore, and the eventual discussion of Braun Strowman versus the SNL guys at WrestleMania 35. Stay tuned.
Either that or Braun Strowman goes to the dealership and just fucks up cars for 20 minutes or something. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for checking out the hot tags, everybody. Drop your comments below. Tell us what you thought, and we will see you next time. This has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.